So we have here another shooter, and this story is pretty sad because this shooter is coming from out of Nevada. And so you see him pictured here. And so it's a sad story as well because this is once again, another tragedy. And so this is coming from out of a Mormon church. I'm not into, that type of thing, but for those who are, it's a tragedy. So, one dead and one wounded in a shooting at a Nevada Mormon church. The suspect is in custody. This is by a Frank Miles. And so, this person actually did the shooting right in broad daylight in front of the congregation. So, one person is dead, another is wounded in the shooting at a church of Nevada. So, the suspect's in custody. The suspect was arrested on Sunday after the shooting at a Mormon church in Fallon, Nevada, that left one dead and one wounded, authorities said. So the shooting took place in front of the congregants during the service at the Church of the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints meeting house. So Caitlin Ritchie, a spokeswoman for the city of Fallon, told Fox 13. So Fallon Police Chief Kevin Gemin identified the suspect as 48-year-old John Kelly O'Connor. So Gemin said O'Connor fired multiple shots, then left the church and walked to his home. Now, he didn't even run, he walked to his home. He shot this person, these two people, and could have shot many others in broad daylight. Now, that's real bold. And then had the audacity to walk to his home, which is right across the street, according to the Nevada appeal. So Gemin said O'Connor surrendered to the police officers and the sheriff deputies after authorities called the home and asked him to do so. So here he is pictured here. They arrest him. He's 48 years old. His name is John Kelly O'Connor for shooting the left and that left one person dead and one injured at the church. In broad daylight, he walked in front of the congregation and just started shooting. So investigators said it was too early to understand the motive behind all of it, but added that the attack appeared to be directed at an individual rather than the church. So he was mad at somebody. And he had no remorse and no fear. So they said what they feel appeared to be directed at that one individual. But, that's real bold to walk right up in the church. You live across the street and you don't like somebody and you just take your gun out and shoot in front of everybody. You don't care who's watching. This man, he must have been not only crazy, but he was insanely angry and enraged. And he didn't even he had a blind rage where he didn't even care, the people that were standing around looking, he didn't care if anybody could ID him. He's like, so what, you see me? He just walked in there with no fear and started shooting. So that is crazy. That is really crazy. So police said O'Connor was a member of the church and he had been attending the services prior to the shoot. So he was actually a member himself. All you church people. That is bold. The second victim has a non-life-threatening leg injury and has been hospitalized. The victim's identities were not immediately revealed because of the pending next of kin identification. So deeply saddened by the acts of the senseless violence in Fallon today at the LDS Church. we are in contact with the mayor, Tedford, and other officials. So my family and I are praying for all the loved ones, the churchgoers, and the community members impacted by this tragedy. So that's Dean Heller, July 22nd, 2018. That is a tragedy. That's very sad. And I'm sorry for the loss of those people. It's just so scary nowadays. You can be in church, you could be walking, you could be in a grocery store, as we saw today. You never know when it's your last day. And you don't know, that person is mad at somebody else, and then you end up taking the bullet. Sunday afternoon, it says Dean Heller of Nevada sent a tweet of condolence acknowledging he's in contact with officials investigating the shooter. So deeply saddened by the act of senseless violence in Fallon today at the LDS Church. So he added, my family and I are praying for all the loved ones in the churchgoers that are members of the community that are impacted by the tragedy. So devastated by the horrific news of the fatal shooting at the LDS Church in Fallon. Thank you for the first responders of the scene. My heart goes out to all the impacted people. Places of worship should be a safe haven. They should be. Not anymore. As we've noticed more recently, the gun violence across the country must end. All I got to say is good luck to that. It seems like it's gotten worse. Talking about ending gun violence, there's been more gun violence. Masto also tweeted condolences, devastated by the horrific news of the fatal shooting at the LDS Church in Fallon. Thank you for the first responders on the scene. My heart goes out to all of those impacted, and places of worship should be safe havens. But as we see more recently, these places of worship are just as dangerous as being on the street. So the gun violence across the country must end. It's what everybody's been saying, but seems like it's gotten out of control now, more recently. So police said the suspect appears to have targeted one person and not the church itself, which had as many as 50. Looking all of that up. So there's still, I would gather they're under investigation on that. So we express our love to those in this congregation and our prayers to the victims and their families, LDS Church spokesman Eric Hawkins said in a statement. Local leaders are ministering to them at this time. Sorry for the loss of the loved ones, and this is a scene when it happened. And can you imagine sitting in church, for those of you, even if you were just visiting, and somebody walks in with a gun and just starts shooting, and you thinking this is safe, I'm here with my family, and we're calm, and we're in a peaceful environment, and you thinking it's a place of worship or whatever, and I'm visiting, and nothing bad's going to happen, and all of a sudden somebody walks in with a gun and just starts shooting, and your immediate reaction is to run, but you're so scared and in shock of the boldness of somebody walking in a place that you would think would be a safe place, walking in, and they're not afraid that people can see them. And the only thing you can think, okay, I can't run because he might directly aim at me running because they don't want to be ID'd. Then you get scared and you go up under the pews, under the seats, hiding, scuffling and going on. Can you imagine how threatening, and your heart will be in your throat at that point? Fight or flight. That fear would just hit you, and you're like, oh my God, we're gonna die today. That's the feeling you get. And you're like, what are we gonna do? Is this a hostage situation or what? And then on top of that, knowing who the person is that he or she actually attends that organization. And you would have never guessed that person was going to do something like that. But this is the scene here. And this is the guy I mean, here he looks, but maybe, they knew him. They said he was a member of the church. Boy, I'm telling you, we got are killing one another. This is the church here. So this is scary. What are your thoughts and your comments on this story right here? It seems to me, I'm just going to give you my opinion. I think that since they've been talking about ending gun violence, we've been seeing more gun violence. And it's senseless killing. Thoughts, comments, feedback on this right here, because this right here is just, it's terrible. Terrible, terrible. Innocent people, victims of these random gun shootings. It's happening everywhere. Thank you for your listening.